guys, it has been a couple of days, more like probably a few days since I did my cleanup outside on my main flower bed. It has been such a rainy week this week. We have had rain almost every day, so I really haven't been able to get out into the garden this week. So today I am inside. It's still a little bit overcast, a little bit rainy out, and I'm gonna do a fun little project with the branches that I cut off of my Jane Magnolia outside a couple days ago. I'm gonna force those branches to bloom in an arrangement, and I'm gonna make an Easter egg tree out of them. I've done an Easter egg tree a couple years ago. It was so cute. I loved it so much. So I thought, why not you make use of my branches that I cut, force those beautiful flowers, and dye some eggs, and put that together for you today. So let me turn you around and show you what I've got. Okay, I set out all of my materials on my dining room table here. These are the branches that I cut off of my Jane Magnolia the other day. I am going to have to cut these down because they're quite long, but I will get to that in a minute. And then I prepared some dye. I had this gel food coloring on hand, the pastel mix. I think it would be really fun someday, some year, to use natural dyes, dyed from like vegetables, fruits, things like that. That would be a really fun experiment one year. And I have my pruners and some tongs for the eggs. And I think I'm gonna use this clay pot that I have to put my branches in. And then I have this antique egg holder. Not really sure what the exact name is. I have this egg that I pre-dyed just to see how it would work, and some antique flower frogs to put into the bottom of the container. I'm gonna try them out to see how they work. My mom had given me a bunch of antique flower frogs for arrangements, and I have some moss that I'm gonna use to top dress my container. So very simple. Now let's get started. And of course, I forgot to get out the eggs, so the most important thing is eggs. Okay, I'm first gonna cut down the branches and arrange them in this container. I have a chandelier right above me, so I wanna make sure that they're just the right height so that they're not gonna hit the chandelier over my head. And I think I'm gonna start with this flower frog. It has the most holes in it, it's bigger, so I think that it'll be good for all the branches that I have. So I'm just gonna put it right in the bottom of my pot. And if this flower frog doesn't end up working out, I will just use soil in here to keep all of the branches in place. And then I'm just gonna start cutting. And really, these branches should just start to bloom in a few weeks, hopefully. Once you put them in a warmer environment, that just kind of signals to them to start that process of opening up. They've been sitting in my garage for a couple of days in dark in this water bucket right here. And just, it's very simple. I actually, a couple weeks ago, I'll show you, I was on a walk on our trails right around my house, and there was a tree that had fallen down. There's always lots of trees that fall down on the trail. And I think it was maybe like a pear tree. I'm not exactly sure, but it had really big buds on it. So I thought, well, let me just break off some of these branches. I'm having a really hard time getting these branches out of the container. Hold on a second. All right, got it. I thought, let me just break off a few, more than a few, a handful of these branches and bring them inside to my house to see if I can force them to bloom. And sure enough, just probably a few weeks later, they are blooming. So I thought that was a really fun experiment. Whew. I'm gonna poke my eye out here. I'm gonna have to turn this around because this guy is going right into my eyes. So I'm just gonna keep working at these branches so I can fill this entire pot up. and then I will show you. It's looking really good overall. I think it needs a little bit more added to it, and I don't want to cut off any more branches from my Jane Magnolia. So I have these extra river birch branches that I use in my paperweight arrangement, and I'm just going to use those to fill out this container a little bit more and just give a little more room to put the Easter eggs, to hang the Easter eggs on. Out really nice. I did go out and get some more river birch branches from my yard just to fill it out a little bit better, but overall I think it turned out really great. I did realize, silly me, I'm always forgetting things when I'm planning for these projects, but this container has a hole in it. So I don't know what I was thinking. I originally was thinking I would put these in the flower frog and then fill the container with water and they would be fine, but that water will quickly rush and overflow my little saucer that I have on the bottom here. So I think I'm gonna end up having to put soil down into my container just to keep the water from immediately rushing out the bottom of my pot. That was something that I definitely overlooked. So I'm gonna go ahead and just fill that with some soil real quick before I move on to the eggs. While I'm making this big mess, I'm going to top dress it with this moss so that I can just clean everything up at once. There it is. I love it. I think it turned out really cute. Very, very happy. So now let's dye some eggs. All right, I have my eggs and my 4 colors. Unfortunately, this pink one is not gonna show up very well on the egg. I already did a trial run with this egg and it just didn't turn out the greatest, but it's all that I have, so I'm just gonna make use of it. So I'm actually going to be blowing out these eggs. I have done this before, and I think that it's much better than hard boiling the eggs and dyeing the eggs, because I feel like it's kind of pointless that you then have to store them in the refrigerator and nobody can see them. So I'd much rather blow them out and be able to hang them on something like this little tree that I'm doing. So I'm going to dye them first so that they can submerge under the water and not float on top of the water, which is what they would do if they were already blown out. So I'm going to probably let them sit in this water for around 5 to 10 minutes. And all that I did was take about 3/4 cup of water and add in a bunch of food coloring. I didn't specifically measure, and then a tablespoon of vinegar into each jar, into each mason jar. So very, very simple. These tongs help to get that down into the jar so that they don't crack and break. So let's give these about 5 minutes and I'll be back to show you what they look like. Okay, it's been 10 minutes. I checked them after 5 minutes and they were not ready. I'm not sure that they're gonna be completely good after 10 minutes either, but I'm gonna check. I just think that the pastel color mix does not, you know, it doesn't dye them as boldly as like the traditional color mix would. But like I said, it's what I had on hand, so that's what I'm using. And actually, I don't know, it didn't turn out too bad. It looks pretty good, the yellow. So I'm just gonna put them in this egg tray to dry. This probably isn't the most ideal thing. Probably like some kind of a, I don't know, more upright holder would work a little bit better. And here's the green. It's very, very faint, but I guess it's okay. I mean, it is Easter. Pastel colors are the thing for Easter, so I'm just gonna go with it. And then the pink, whoops. I'm gonna end up breaking one of these, oh my goodness. Very light also. And let's check on the blue. There we go. Blue's not too bad either. It's pretty. So I'm gonna let these dry and then I'm gonna add in these this other batch of eggs. All right, let's let these sit for 10 minutes and I'll be back. Let's see how these turned out. Yellow, looking pretty good. And actually I'm liking the colors more as they sit, as the eggs dry. I think that it's taking on the colors a little bit better. Green. Here's a pink. These would also be so pretty if you had some dried flowers or if you bought some dried flowers. Did you know you can buy dried flowers on Amazon? I had no idea. But I think that these would be really pretty if you added some dried flowers and put some like Mod Podge over it, especially if you just had plain branches that weren't flowering. I think that those flowers would stand out really nicely on the eggs. So I'm gonna fill my remaining 3 eggs, or dye my remaining 3 eggs. And then I'm gonna show you how I blow out an egg on one of these dry ones. I'm gonna show you how I blow out the eggs now. I've been doing this for years now using this method. There are tools that you can buy on Amazon that is like a hand pump method. We have had that in the past and I didn't have very good luck with it. I just like it better doing it the old-fashioned way and just actually blowing on the egg and blowing the yolk into a bowl. So I already did this one. You can see the holes in the top and the bottom, and it's really very, very easy. And you just, I mean, obviously want to make sure that you're starting with an egg that is clean, which these have been soaking and washed, so I'm comfortable putting my mouth on them. And then I have some wet paper towels next to me to wipe the egg in between so that I'm not getting any yolk on my mouth, just in case there's any salmonella or contamination involved. We don't want that. So really the easiest thing to use is a screwdriver with, like, I don't know, medium tip. This isn't the smallest, but it's not the biggest. And then you just take it and you put it in one end of the egg and very slowly just start to, this is going to be a little hard to demonstrate, just start to turn it until it just breaks through the shell and make a hole in the top. And then the hole in the bottom, if you can, should be just a little bit bigger than the top. So, whoa, whoops. And sometimes you have to be careful that you don't push the screwdriver all the way through to the other side and break your egg completely. So I'm gonna just wipe the top off before I blow this into the bowl, and then you literally just I'm sure that's very amusing to watch, but I'm just gonna keep blowing the yolk into the bowl and just continue with all the other eggs. Just wipe it down real good and you're good to go. That's a blown out egg. All right, I got all of the eggs done. I lost one of the pink ones broke on me, so I'll have to do another one at another time. But now I am going to attach them. I'm gonna put little, I'll show you these little buttons that I had in my sewing stash. They have the little like loop on the top. So what I'm actually gonna do is glue these to the top of the egg, and then I'm gonna hang them with a clear piece of like fishing line is what I have, but you could also use whatever you have, like any thin piece of ribbon or twine, or even like a ornament hanger, a metal ornament hanger would work. So I'm gonna take my hot glue. I have this plugged in at a really weird angle, so it's gonna look a little weird, but I'm just gonna put a dab of glue on the top. There we go. And then be very careful and put the hanger on the top there. I probably put a little too much glue on that one because it's really bubbling up all over. There you go. And then that makes a cute little egg ornament for your tree. So I am going to go through and cut my fishing line right here to size and get all of these ornaments hung on my tree. Just gonna cut off the ends like that. It's ready to go. Very, very cute. So let's get all of these other ones done. I am so happy with how this turned out. I really, really love it. I think it looks very pretty. I love the eggs and the little hangers with the buttons. I ran out of some buttons, so I have to search for 3 more buttons so I can hang the rest of my eggs. But I just love them. I'm so excited to see the magnolia branches bloom. And I decided to add my antique egg dish to the bottom for a saucer, I thought that was so fitting and appropriate and looks really pretty. So overall, I'm really happy, and I still have room to add more decor on either side for Easter and spring. I hope that you enjoyed this video with me. Thank you so much for hanging out. I hope that you all have a great upcoming week, and I will talk to you very soon.